Captain Lee Hyun stood on the bridge of the UHS Taegukgi, watching the stars through the main window. The ship had been traveling for 3 weeks now, moving through empty space toward the Kepler 442 system. This was supposed to be a simple job. Check the system for new planets, take some pictures, and head home. Captain, we are getting close to the target area, said Commander Kim Tae-ho from his seat at the control panel. Kim was a good officer, always calm and ready for anything. He had been with Lee Hyun for 5 years now. Good. Dr. Park, are your machines ready? Lee Hyun asked. Dr. Park Soo-jin looked up from her science station. She was the ship's expert on alien life and had joined them 2 years ago. Yes, Captain. All my equipment is working fine. If there is anything interesting out there, we will find it. The Taegukgi was not a big ship, but it was fast and had good equipment. The crew of 45 people had been together for many missions. They trusted each other, and Lee Hyun was proud of his team. Captain, Ensign Choi Min-ah called out from the communications desk. She was young, but very good at her job. I am picking up something strange. There is a large object near the third planet. Lee Hyun walked over to look at her screen. What kind of object? It looks like a space station, but it is not on any of our maps. The design is not human, and it is very big. Much bigger than our stations. Dr. Park came over to look as well. The energy readings are very high. This technology is more advanced than anything we have. Much more advanced. Lee Hyun felt a cold feeling in his stomach. Humans had only been in space for about 50 years. They had met other alien races, but most contact had been peaceful. Still, finding unknown alien technology was always dangerous. Can we see it better? He asked. Yes, Captain. Putting it on the main screen now, Min-ah said. The front window changed to show a massive structure floating in space. It was dark metal with strange patterns and lights. The station was at least 10 times bigger than the largest human space station. It looked like a giant metal flower with many arms reaching out. My God, whispered Dr. Park. Look at the size of that thing. Are there any ships around it? Lee Hyun asked. Kim checked his screens. I see 3 smaller ships docked to the station. The design matches the station. Definitely alien. Any signals coming from it? Min-ah worked at her controls for a few minutes. Yes, Captain, there are many different signals. Some are just computer data, but... She stopped and looked confused. But what? Some of the signals sound like voices. And Captain, some of them sound like they are in trouble. Lee Hyun looked at his crew. This was not what they had expected to find. Can you tell what they are saying? I am trying to clean up the signals now. Min-ah worked quickly, her fingers moving over the controls. After a few minutes, sounds came through the speakers. At first, it was just noise. Then they heard voices speaking in languages they did not understand. But then, clear as day, they heard something that made everyone freeze. A child was crying. The voice was small and scared, speaking in what sounded like English. Please, I want to go home. Please let me go home. The bridge went completely quiet. Dr. Park put her hand over her mouth. Kim stopped what he was doing and stared at the speakers. Min-ah looked like she was about to cry. That is a human child, Lee Hyun said quietly. His voice was hard and angry. Captain, there are more signals like this, Min-ah said. Her voice was shaking. Different languages, but some are definitely human. Children's voices. Lee Hyun felt anger building inside him like a fire. How many? Min-ah worked for several more minutes. I count at least 30 different human voices, Captain. Most of them are very young. Children, Dr. Park whispered. They have human children on that station. Lee Hyun walked back to his captain's chair and sat down. His mind was working fast. Human children on an unknown alien station, crying and asking to go home. This was very bad. Kim, I want you to take a team over there. Find out what is happening. Yes. Sir, how many people? Take 12, full combat gear, but be careful. We do not know what we are dealing with yet. Captain, Dr. Park said. If there are human children over there, they might need medical help. You are right. Go with Kim's team. Bring your medical kit. As Kim and Dr. Park prepared their team, Lee Hyun stared at the alien station. How had human children ended up there? The nearest human colonies were weeks away. And why were they crying for help? 40 minutes later, Kim's shuttle left the Teguki and flew toward the station. Lee Hyun watched on the main screen as the small ship got closer to the massive alien structure. "Captain, I am getting more signals," Minna said. "The computer has been working on translating some of the alien languages." "What do they say?" "Most of it is just normal station talk. Work schedules, supply lists, things like that, but Captain, some of the words—" She looked sick. "Some of the words are about buying and selling, and they mention humans." Lee Hyun gripped the arms of his chair tighter. "Buying and selling humans?" "Yes, sir. The computer found records that list humans by age and other things, like they are objects to be sold." The anger in Lee Hyun's chest grew hotter. "Keep working on those translations. I want to know everything." On the screen, they watched Kim's shuttle reach the station. The team would board the station and find out what was really happening there. 20 minutes passed before Kim's voice came through the radio. "Captain, you need to hear this." "Go ahead, Kim." "Sir, this place is a prison. There are hundreds of alien beings locked up here. Different species, all in cages. And Captain," Kim's voice broke, "we found the human children." "How many?" 37. "Sir, they are in terrible condition. Scared, hungry, and some have been hurt. Dr. Park is with them now." Lee Hyun closed his eyes for a moment. 37 human children trapped on an alien station being treated like animals. "Kim, what else have you found?" "Sir, this is some kind of slave market. The aliens here are buying and selling people. The humans, the children, they were going to be sold." The bridge was completely silent except for the sound of the ship's machines. Lee Hyun opened his eyes and looked at the alien station on the screen. "Bring them home, Kim. Bring all of them home." "Yes, sir." As Lee Hyun waited for his team to return with the children, he made a decision. This would not stand. Someone would pay for this. Someone would pay for taking human children and treating them like things to be bought and sold. The galaxy was about to learn something important about humans. They were about to learn what happened when someone hurt their children. Ambassador Yoon Ji-woo rushed through the halls of the Galactic Council building. Her shoes clicked loudly on the smooth floor as she carried a datapad full of evidence. The building was huge, with tall walls and strange alien art everywhere. Representatives from dozens of different worlds worked here making laws for the galaxy. But today, Yoon Ji-woo only cared about one thing. She had proof that aliens were stealing and selling human children, and she wanted justice. The council meeting room was enormous. Seats were arranged in circles, with each alien species having their own section. The air smelled strange, like metal and flowers mixed together. Yoon Ji-woo had been coming here for 3 years as Earth's representative, but she had never felt this angry before. "I demand to speak," she called out as she entered the room. The council leader, a tall blue alien with 4 arms, looked down at her. "Ambassador Yoon, you are not scheduled to speak today. Please wait for your turn." "This cannot wait," Yoon Ji-woo said, holding up her datapad. "I have evidence of a terrible crime. Human children have been kidnapped and sold as slaves." A low sound went through the room as the different aliens talked to each other in their own languages. Some looked surprised, but others did not seem to care at all. "Please present your evidence," the council leader said. Yoon Ji-woo connected her data pad to the room's computer system. Pictures appeared on the big screens around the room. They showed the alien station, the cages, and the scared human children that Captain Lee Hyun's team had found. "These children were taken from human colonies," she said. "They have been kept in terrible conditions and were going to be sold to the highest bidder. This is a crime against all civilized beings." She clicked to the next picture, showing documents from the station's computers. "We have records of the sales. Humans, including children, being bought and sold like animals." The room was quiet for a moment. Then a voice spoke from the Vexithari section. High Commander Zethlock stood up. He was tall and thin with gray skin and black eyes. His people controlled a large part of the galaxy. "These are simply territorial disputes," Zethlock said in a calm voice. "The settlements in question were not registered with the council. They had no protection." Yoon Ji-woo stared at him. Protection? These are children we are talking about. Innocent children who were taken from their families. The galaxy is a dangerous place, Zethlock replied. Species that do not pay for protection must accept the risks. Another alien stood up. This one was shorter and rounder with green skin. Yoon Ji-woo recognized Overseer Mothfin from the Kree-Nari species. The human colonies failed to pay the required fees for council protection. They chose to remain outside our system. So you think that makes it okay to steal children? Yoon Ji-woo asked, her voice getting louder. We think, said a third alien from the back of the room, that humans should learn how the galaxy really works. The council leader held up one of his 4 hands. Please let us discuss this matter calmly. Ambassador Yoon, what exactly are you asking the council to do? Yoon Ji-woo took a deep breath. I want the people responsible for this arrested and put on trial. I want all the victims freed, and I want guarantees that this will never happen again. That is quite a lot to ask, the council leader said. These matters take time to investigate properly. How much time? Yoon Ji-woo demanded. The council leader talked quietly with several other aliens for a few minutes. Finally, he turned back to her. We will need at least 1 standard galactic year to investigate these claims fully. A year? Yoon Ji-woo could not believe what she was hearing. You want us to wait 18 months while children suffer? These things must be done properly, Zethlock said. We cannot simply accept the word of one species against another. Yoon Ji-woo looked around the room. She saw aliens who looked bored, others who seemed annoyed that their time was being wasted. Very few looked like they cared about human children being sold as slaves. What if these were your children? She asked. What if it was your species being hunted and sold? But it is not, Mothfin said simply. It is humans, and humans are new to the galaxy. You must learn your place. Our place? Yoon Ji-woo's voice was dangerous now. What exactly is our place? To follow the rules, Zethlock answered. To pay the fees. To accept that some species are more important than others. The room erupted in noise as different aliens talked and argued. Some seemed to agree with Zethlock, while others looked uncomfortable. But no one stood up to defend the human children. Yoon Ji-woo waited for the noise to die down. Then she spoke again, her voice clear and strong. I see. So the Galactic Council believes that humans are second-class citizens, that our children can be stolen and sold, and we should just accept it. You are putting words in our mouths. The council leader said, Am I? Then prove me wrong. Take action now. Arrest the criminals. Free the victims. We have already told you, these things take time. Yoon Ji-woo smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Very well. I will report back to Earth that the Galactic Council refuses to protect human children from slavery. We are not refusing, the council leader said quickly. We are simply following proper procedures. The same procedures that allowed this to happen in the first place? Yoon Ji-woo asked. The same system that says humans are not worth protecting unless we pay bribes? She gathered her datapad and turned to leave. But before she reached the door, Zethlock spoke again. Ambassador Yoon, perhaps humans should consider the benefits of cooperation. The galaxy has much to offer those who know their place. Yoon Ji-woo stopped and turned back. And what place is that? A profitable one. Human slaves, especially children, are quite valuable. Their minds are flexible, easy to train. If Earth were to participate in this trade officially, there could be great profit. The room went completely silent. Every alien was watching to see how the human would respond. Yoon Ji-woo walked slowly back toward Zethlock. When she reached his section, she looked up at him with cold eyes. Let me make something very clear, she said quietly. Humans do not sell their children, ever, and anyone who tries to buy them will learn exactly what humans do to people who hurt their young. Is that a threat? Zethlock asked. It is a promise. Yoon Ji-woo left the council building and went straight to her ship. She had a message to send to Earth, and it was not going to be the message anyone expected. As her ship launched and headed toward human space, She spoke into her communication device. Earth Command, this is Ambassador Yoon. The Council has refused to take action against the slavers. They consider human children to be acceptable targets for kidnapping and sale. I'm returning home immediately. She paused, then added, Tell Captain Lee Hyun that the galaxy just made a very big mistake, and tell him that Earth needs to prepare for war. Back on the Taegukgi, Lee Hyun received the message while he was visiting the rescued children in the medical bay. Dr. Park Soo-jin had been working around the clock to help them recover. Some of the children were getting better, but others were still too scared to speak. When he heard Yoon Ji-woo's words, Lee Hyun's face became hard as stone. He looked at the children in their beds, some still crying for parents they might never see again. Dr. Park, he said quietly. Yes, Captain? How long before these children are strong enough to travel? Most of them could travel now if needed. Why? Lee Hyun looked out the window at the stars. Because we are going home. And when we get there, we are going to make sure this never happens again. He left the medical bay and went to the bridge. Minna, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them to recall all human ships and prepare for military action. What should I tell them we are preparing for, Captain? Lee Hyun looked at the alien station, still floating in the distance. Soon his people would destroy it, and everything it represented. Tell them we are going to teach the galaxy a lesson about taking human children. The message from Earth reached every human ship, station, and colony within 72 hours. It was simple and direct. Return home immediately. Prepare for war. Captain Lee Hyun watched from the bridge of the Taegukgi as human ships began, arriving in Earth's solar system. First came the military vessels, destroyers, cruisers, and the massive carrier ships. But then came something the galaxy had never seen before. Civilian ships were arriving too, and they were being turned into weapons of war. Captain, I am getting reports from Earth Command, Ensign Choi Min-ah said. They have converted over 300 civilian ships for combat use. Mining ships, cargo haulers, even passenger liners. Commander Kim Tae-ho looked up from his station. Passenger liners? How do you turn a passenger ship into a warship? They stripped out everything inside and packed them with weapons and soldiers, Mina replied. Earth Command says every human who can hold a weapon has volunteered to fight. Lee Hyun was not surprised. When he had shown the videos of the rescued children to Earth Command, the response had been immediate and total. Humans did not forgive people who hurt their children. Dr. Park Soo-jin entered the bridge, looking tired but determined. She had been working non-stop to help the rescued children recover from their experience. Captain, I have news about the children. Good news, I hope. Yes and no. The good news is that most of them are getting better. Their bodies are healing. And some are starting to talk again. The bad news is what they are telling us. Lee Hyun turned to face her. What are they saying? There are more human children out there. Many more. The station we found was just one of 17 different facilities. And Captain, they have been doing this for almost 2 years. The bridge went quiet. Lee Hyun felt the anger in his chest burn hotter. How many children? We do not know exactly, but the records we found suggest hundreds, maybe more. Kim spoke up from his station. Captain, Earth Command is asking for our location data on the slave station. They want to begin operations immediately. Send them everything we have, every detail, every piece of evidence. Already done, sir. On the main screen, Lee Hyun could see the massive human fleet that was forming near Earth. Ships were still arriving every hour. The fleet was bigger than anything humans had ever assembled before. It was bigger than most species' entire military forces. Minna, are you still monitoring alien communications? Yes, Captain. And sir, they are starting to notice what we are doing. Several species are asking each other about the human military buildup. What are they saying? Most of them think we are just making a show of force. They believe we will back down once we realize how big the galaxy is. Lee Hyun smiled, but it was not a nice smile. They are about to learn something important about humans. 3 days later, the human fleet was ready. Admiral Park Won-ho, Lee Hyun's older brother, commanded the operation from the flagship UHS Seoul. The plan was simple and brutal. Hit every known slave facility at the same time. Rescue everyone inside and destroy anyone who tried to stop them. All ships, this is Admiral Park, the voice came through the speakers. Operation Righteous Fury is now beginning. Remember, our primary goal is to save lives. Every life, human and alien alike. But anyone who stands in our way, anyone who tries to harm innocents will be destroyed without mercy. The human fleet split into 17 different groups, each heading toward a different slave facility. Captain Lee Hyun commanded one group, with the Teguki leading 5 other ships toward a massive station in the Rigel system. Captain, we are approaching the target, Kim reported. The station is huge, bigger than the first one we found. Any ships defending it? 6 Vexathari warships. They are moving to intercept us. Lee Hyun looked at the enemy ships on his screen. They were big and looked dangerous, but he was not worried. Open communications with the lead ship. A moment later, the face of a Vexathari commander appeared on the screen. The alien looked confident and arrogant. Human ship, you are in Vexathari space without permission. Leave now or be destroyed. I am Captain Lee Hyun of the Terran Defense Force. You are harboring stolen human children. Surrender them immediately and you will be allowed to live. The Yao. Alien commander laughed. Humans making threats. How amusing. You are far from your little planet now. No one will help you here. We do not need help, Lee Hyun said calmly. We have something better. And what is that? Righteous anger. Lee. Hyun cut the communication and turned to Kim. Destroy them. The battle was over in less than 10 minutes. The human ships moved faster and hit harder than the Vexathari had expected. Their weapons were more accurate, their tactics more clever. Within minutes, all 6 enemy ships were floating. Rex, boarding teams go, Lee Hyun ordered. Commander Kim led the assault on the station. His team moved through the alien facility like a force of nature, unstoppable and focused. They found the prison levels quickly, and what they saw there made them even more determined. Hundreds of beings from dozens of different species were locked in small cages. The conditions were terrible, dirty, crowded, and cold. And in the center of the facility, in the worst conditions of all, were 43 human children. My God, whispered one of Kim's soldiers as they broke open the cages. What have they done to these kids? Some of the children were so scared they could not move. Others cried when they saw humans coming to help them. A few, the ones who had been there longest, did not react at all. Dr. Park Soo-jin, who had come with the boarding team, knelt down next to a small boy who looked about 8 years old. Hello, she said gently. My name is Dr. Park. We are here to take you home. The boy looked at her with empty eyes. Home? He whispered. They said home was gone. They said everyone was dead. They lied to you, Dr. Park said, tears in her eyes. Your family is looking for you. We are all looking for you. As the rescue teams worked to free the prisoners, Kim reported back to the Taiguchi. Captain, we have 43 human children and over 200 aliens from various species. Some need immediate medical attention. Bring them all aboard, we will make room. Sir, what about the station? Lee Hyun looked at the massive alien structure on his screen. It had been built to buy and sell people like animals. It represented everything that was wrong with the galaxy. Blow it up, he said simply. The explosion could be seen from space as the slave station died in a ball of fire. Similar explosions were happening across the galaxy as other human teams destroyed other facilities. News of the human attack spread quickly through alien communication networks. Species that had never heard of humans before were suddenly talking about them. The humans had hit 17 different targets at exactly the same time, across thousands of light years of space. The coordination was perfect, the execution flawless. More importantly, the humans had kept their word. They destroyed anyone who tried to stop them, but they saved every innocent life they could find. Alien prisoners who had been slaves were freed along with the human children. High Commander Zethlock received reports of the attacks while he was in his command center on the Vexathari homeworld. Each report was worse than the last. 17 facilities destroyed, hundreds of his people killed and thousands of valuable slaves freed. How is this possible? He demanded. Humans are a small, weak species. How can they coordinate attacks across the entire galaxy? His aide, a younger Vexithari named Veltar, looked nervous. Sir, our intelligence was wrong. Humans are not weak. Their technology is more advanced than we thought, and their military is much larger. How much larger? Sir, they appear to have converted their entire civilization for war. Every ship, every resource, every person is now focused on fighting us. Zethlock felt fear for the first time in many years. Over what? A few dozen children? Sir, I think we misunderstood something important about humans. What? They do not see them as a few dozen children. They see them as their children, all of them, and they will do anything to protect them. Back on the Teguki, Captain Lee Hyun stood in the medical bay watching Dr. Park work with the newly rescued children. One little girl, maybe 6 years old, had drawn a picture of her family on a piece of paper. She kept asking when she could see them again. Soon, Dr. Park told her. Very soon. Lee Hyun's communication device buzzed. It was a message from Admiral Park Wonho. All targets destroyed. Mission successful. Total rescued. 1,147 humans, 3,891 other species. Enemy casualties, approximately 15,000. Human casualties, 23 wounded, 0 killed. Lee Hyun smiled as he read the numbers. The galaxy had learned something today. They had learned what happened when someone hurt human children. But this was just the beginning. There were still slave traders out there, still aliens who thought humans were weak. They would all learn the truth soon enough. Captain, Minna called from the bridge. I am receiving surrender requests from several alien species. They want to talk. Tell them to talk to Admiral Park, Lee Hyun replied. But make sure they understand one thing. What is that, sir? This is not over. Not until every human child is home safe. Not until every slaver is dead or in prison. Not until the galaxy understands that human children are not for sale. The war had just begun, and the galaxy was about to learn what human determination really meant. The Galactic Council building was in chaos. Representatives from dozens of species were shouting at each other in their own languages. Emergency meetings had been called 3 times in the past week, but nothing was getting done. Everyone was too busy arguing about what to do about the humans. Ambassador Yoon Ji-woo sat in the human section, watching the panic around her with cold satisfaction. She had been recalled to Earth after the first attacks, but now she was back with new instructions. The humans had something to say to the galaxy. Order, order, the council leader shouted, waving all 4 of his arms. We must discuss this human problem calmly. Calmly, screamed a red-skinned alien from the Martok Confederation. They destroyed 17 of our facilities. They killed thousands of our people. Your facilities were slave markets, Yoon Ji-woo said quietly, but her voice carried across the room. Your people were slavers. The room went silent. All eyes turned to the human ambassador. The humans have committed acts of war against multiple council species, High Commander Zethlock said. This cannot be allowed to stand. Yoon Ji-woo stood up slowly. She was holding a new data pad, filled with evidence that human intelligence teams had gathered from the destroyed slave facilities. You want to talk about war crimes? She asked. Let me show you some war crimes. The screens around the room lit up with pictures that made even the most hardened aliens look away. Children in cages, torture devices, medical experiments on living beings. The evidence was overwhelming and horrible. This is what we found in your legitimate businesses, Yoon Ji-woo continued. Children from dozens of species, not just humans. Beings tortured for entertainment. Families separated and sold to different buyers. Those activities are legal under council regulations, Overseer Mothvan protested. The species involved were not protected by council membership. Legal, Yoon Ji-woo repeated. You think this is legal? She clicked to the next image. It showed a young human girl, maybe 10 years old, sitting in a cage next to alien children of similar age. All of them looked broken and hopeless. Her name is Bae Min-jung, Yoon Ji-woo said. She was taken from her home on New Sol Colony 8 months ago. The slavers told her that her parents were dead and that she would never see Earth again. They were preparing to sell her to a buyer who wanted a human pet. The room was completely quiet now. She is alive and safe now, by the way. Along with 247 other humans and almost 4,000 beings from other species, all freed by human forces. The humans had no right to attack council-regulated businesses, Zethlock said, but his voice was not as confident as before. Council-regulated? Yoon Ji-woo laughed, but it was not a happy sound. You mean council-protected? You mean council-profitable? She clicked to another set of documents. These are financial records from the slave facilities. Would you like to guess which species were the biggest customers? Names and numbers appeared on the screens. Several alien representatives looked very uncomfortable as they saw their own species listed as major buyers of slaves. The Kreenari purchased 847 sentient beings last year alone, Yoon Ji-woo read. The Vexthari bought 1,203. The Zephyrian Empire purchased 2,991 beings, including 312 children under the age of 10. This is outrageous, shouted the Zephyrian representative. You cannot present classified information to the council. Classified? Yoon Ji-woo asked. You mean secret? You mean hidden? Why would you want to hide the fact that you buy children? Those purchases were legal. Legal under whose law? Yours? The same law that says it is okay to cage children and sell them like animals? The council leader tried to regain control. Ambassador Yoon, we did not call this meeting to discuss the past. We are here to address human aggression. Human aggression, Yoon Ji-woo repeated. She walked to the center of the room where everyone could see her clearly. Let me tell you about human aggression. 12 hours ago, human forces surrounded the Kreenari home system. Every ship, every station, every colony is now cut off from the rest of the galaxy. Overseer Mothvan jumped to his feet. That is an act of war. Yes, it is, Yoon Ji-woo agreed. And do you know why they did it? Because our intelligence teams discovered that you have been running breeding programs. You have been kidnapping humans and forcing them to have children so you can raise those children as slaves. The room erupted in noise as aliens shouted and argued. But Yoon Ji-woo was not finished. The breeding facility on Kreenari Prime contained 47 human women and 31 human men, all taken from frontier colonies. Some had been there for 3 years. Some had children who had never seen the sky or breathed free air. She clicked to another image. This one showed human children, all very young, sitting in what looked like a classroom. But instead of learning to read, they were learning to obey. These children were being trained to be perfect slaves. Their minds were being programmed to never question orders, never fight back, never even think about freedom. Dr. Park Soo-jin's voice came through the speakers as Yoon Ji-woo played a recorded message. The neural conditioning was so severe that some of these children forgot their own names. They only knew numbers and commands. Where are they now? Asked an alien from the back of the room. Safe, Yoon Ji-woo said simply. And free. And on their way home to Earth. What about the Kreenari system? Mothvan demanded. You cannot hold an entire star system hostage. We are not holding it hostage, Yoon Ji-woo replied. We are quarantining it. No ships in, no ships out, until every human who was taken is returned safely. This is impossible. There are billions of Kreenari in that system. They need trade to survive. Then you should have thought of that before you started stealing our children. High Commander Zethlock stood up, his face dark with anger. The Council demands that human forces withdraw immediately. If you do not comply, we will authorize military action against Earth. Yoon Ji-woo looked at him for a long moment. Then she smiled. High Commander, I have a message for you from Admiral Park Won-ho, commander of the human fleet. She pressed a button on her datapad. Admiral Park's voice filled the room, calm and cold. To any species considering military action against Earth or human forces, you are welcome to try. But understand that humanity is no longer the peaceful race you thought you knew. We have converted our entire civilization for war. Every human ship, every human world, every human citizen is now part of our military force. We have 847 combat vessels in space, over 2,000 converted civilian ships armed for war, and 23 million trained soldiers ready for battle. The room was dead silent. More importantly, the Admiral's voice continued, "We have something you do not. We have a cause worth dying for. We are fighting to protect our children, and there is nothing in the galaxy more dangerous than a parent defending their young." The message ended, leaving the council chamber in total quiet. "So," Yoon Ji-woo said, breaking the silence. "Who wants to declare war on Earth?" No one spoke, no one moved. "I thought so," she said. "Because you all know something that High Commander Zethlock here does not seem to understand. You know that humans do not start fights, but we finish them." She gathered her datapad and started walking toward the exit. Ambassador Yoon, the council leader, called after her. "What are human demands?" Yoon Ji-woo stopped and turned back. "Our demands are simple. Every human being held against their will, returned safely. Every slaver involved in these crimes, turned over for trial. And complete reform of the laws that made this possible in the first place. And if we refuse, then you will learn what happens when 23 billion humans decide that you are their enemy." She left the council building and walked to her ship as she prepared to return to Earth. She received a communication from Captain Lee Hyun. "Ambassador, this is Captain Lee. I have news about the breeding facility. Good news, I hope. The best. We found them all. Every single human who was taken is now safe. The mothers, the fathers, the children, all of them." Yoon Ji-woo felt tears in her eyes. "How are the children?" "Scared, but alive. Dr. Park says they will recover. It will take time, but they will be okay." "And the people responsible?" "That is the interesting part," Lee Hyun said. "Overseer Mothavan tried to use the children as shields. He threatened to kill them if we did not withdraw. What happened? We showed him what human precision looks like. 12 shots, 12 targets. Mothavan and his guards were eliminated without a single child being harmed." Yoon Ji-woo smiled grimly. "I am sure that message will spread quickly. It already has. We are receiving surrender offers from 17 different species. Apparently, word is getting around that humans do not negotiate with people who threaten children." As her ship launched toward Earth, Yoon Ji-woo looked back at the council building. The galaxy was learning a new lesson about humanity. They were learning that humans could be peaceful and kind, but they were also learning that there were lines that could not be crossed, and anyone who crossed those lines would face the full fury of human determination. The war was far from over, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. The galaxy would change or the galaxy would burn. Either way, human children would be safe. 6 months had passed since Captain Lee Hyun first discovered the slave station in the Kepler 442 system. Today, he stood on the bridge of the UHS Taguchi, watching as the last Vexithari ship approached Earth. But this was not an attack. This was a surrender. "Captain, incoming transmission from the Vexithari vessel," Ensign Choi Minna reported. "Put it on screen." The face that appeared was not High Commander Zethlock. The former Vexithari leader was now in a human prison, awaiting trial for crimes against sentient beings. This was Admiral Kethvol, the new leader of what remained of the Vexithari Empire. "Captain Lee Hyun," the alien said, his voice tired and defeated. "I am here to formally surrender the Vexithari Empire to human authority. We have brought the records you requested." Lee Hyun looked at the broken alien on his screen. The Vexithari had once been one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. Their empire had controlled dozens of star systems and commanded hundreds of warships. Now they had nothing. Their ships were destroyed, their colonies had rebelled, and their government had collapsed. "Admiral Kethvol, do you have all the records? Every slave transaction, every facility, every person involved?" "Yes, Captain. Everything. Names, locations, financial records, DNA samples, everything." "And the remaining humans?" "All 23 humans, still in Vexithari space, have been returned safely. They are aboard my ship now, waiting to go home." Lee Hyun nodded. "You will transfer them to our medical ship immediately. Dr. Park Soo-jin will examine them and make sure they are healthy." "Of course, Captain. The communication ended, and Lee Hyun turned to Commander Kim Tae-ho. Kim, escort the Vexthari ship to the medical facility. Make sure our people get the care they need. Yes, sir. As Kim left the bridge, Minna spoke up. Captain, I am getting reports from across the galaxy. The last slave facilities have been shut down. The rescue operations are complete. Lee Hyun felt a weight lift from his shoulders. For 6 months, human forces had been hunting down every slave trader, every facility, every person involved in the buying and selling of children. It had been a long and difficult war, but it was finally over. How many did we save in total? He asked. Minna checked her records. 847 humans, including 312 children, and 15,133 beings from 47 different species. Good. What about our casualties? Final count: 156 humans killed in action, 892 wounded. Enemy casualties. She paused. Captain, do you really want to know? Tell me. Approximately 78,000 dead, mostly slavers and those who tried to protect them. No innocent civilians were harmed. Lee Hyun was quiet for a moment. 78,000 alien lives lost to save less than 1,000 humans. Some people might say it was too high a price. But those people had never seen human children in cages crying for their parents. Captain, Ambassador Yoon Ji-woo is asking to speak with you, Minna said. Put her through. Yoon Ji-woo's face appeared. On the screen, she was calling from the new Galactic Council building on Earth. Yes, Earth. The old council had dissolved completely after most of its member species either surrendered to humanity or had their governments overthrown by their own people who were disgusted by the slavery. Captain Lee, I have news from the new council session. Good news, I hope. The best. The Galactic Protection Charter has been signed by 89 species so far. It makes slavery illegal everywhere, with no exceptions. It also establishes the Human Protection Fleet as the enforcement arm of the new government. Lee Hyun smiled. The Human Protection Fleet was Commander Kim Tae-ho's new command. Their job was simple. Make sure nothing like this ever happened again. What about the trials? They start next week. We have 12,147 individuals charged with crimes against sentient beings. The trials will be public, broadcast across the galaxy. And the species that cooperated with us? Full pardons and membership in the new council. It turns out that most species never wanted the slavery to happen. They were just too afraid of the powerful empires to speak up. After the call ended, Lee Hyun left the bridge and walked to the ship's school. Yes, school. The Taegukgi now carried 23 human children who were still recovering from their experiences. Dr. Park Soo-jin had insisted that they needed normal activities to help them heal. He found the children in the main classroom with their teacher, Ms. Han Yoo-jin. She had volunteered to come aboard and help the children learn how to be children again. Today they were drawing pictures. Captain Lee called out little Oh Dong-min, now 9 years old. He had been one of the children from the first rescue. Look what I drew. The picture showed a large ship surrounded by smaller ships, all with human flags. Above them, stars spelled out the word, safe. It is beautiful, Dong-min, Lee Hyun said. What does it mean? It means that bad people cannot hurt children anymore because humans are watching. The boy replied seriously. Lee Hyun knelt down next to the child. That is right. Humans are watching. We will always be watching. A girl named Lee So-eun, who was 10, looked up from her drawing. Captain, will we really never have to be scared again? Never, Lee Hyun promised. No child in the galaxy will ever have to be scared of being taken from their family again. The girl smiled and went back to her drawing. It showed a family, mother, father, and daughter, holding hands under a bright sun. Dr. Park Soo-jin entered the classroom and walked over to Lee Hyun. Captain, I have the final medical reports on all the rescued children. How are they doing? Better than I hoped. The neural conditioning is completely reversed in 98% of cases. The remaining 2% are improving daily. Most importantly, they are remembering how to hope. And the nightmares? Fewer every day. Having normal routines helps. So does knowing they are safe. Lee Hyun watched the children working on their art projects. Some were drawing their families, others were drawing spaceships, and a few were drawing Earth, a planet most of them had never seen, but now knew was their home. Dr. Park, what about the alien children we rescued? How are they? Excellent question. The good news is that 43 species have established similar treatment programs based on our methods. Children from across the galaxy are being reunited with their families and learning to live normal lives again. A communication alert sounded, and Minna's voice came through the speakers. Captain, you are needed on the bridge. We have visitors. Lee Hyun made his way back to the bridge where he found something remarkable happening. The main screen showed dozens of ships from different species, all flying in formation around Earth. They were not human ships. What is this? He asked. Sir, these are representatives from 23 different species, Minna explained. They are here for the ceremony. What ceremony? Commander Kim Tae-ho entered the bridge, wearing his new uniform as commander of the Human Protection Fleet. Captain, they are here to thank us. All these species had children who were enslaved. We saved their children too. The main screen changed to show a communication from one of the alien ships. The face that appeared was unlike any Lee Hyun had seen before. It had blue skin and large, kind eyes. Captain Lee Hyun, the alien said, I am parent leader Veltan of the Corvani people. We wanted to thank you. Your people saved our children when no one else would help. More faces appeared on the screen as other species joined the communication. All of them had the same message. Thank you for saving our children. We know that you fought this war for human children, said another alien. But you saved our children too. You could have ignored us, but you did not. We could not ignore you, Lee Hyun replied. Children are children no matter what species they are. Every child deserves to be safe. The alien communications ended, and Lee Hyun stood quietly on his bridge, thinking about everything that had happened. 6 months ago, he had been a simple exploration captain, mapping new star systems and taking pictures of planets. Now, humanity had become something different. They were still explorers and scientists and traders, but they were also the galaxy's protectors, the species that others called when evil things happened. Captain, Minna said softly, Earth Command is asking if you want to return home. Your mission is complete. Lee Hyun looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, human children were sleeping safely in their beds, protected by the knowledge that their species would never let them be taken again. Somewhere out there, alien children were also sleeping safely, protected by the same promise. No, he said finally, our mission is not complete. Sir, our mission is to make sure this never happens again. That mission will never be complete. He turned to address his crew. As long as there are children in the galaxy who need protection, as long as there are evil people who would hurt innocents, humanity will be watching. We will be ready. The crew nodded in understanding. They had started this journey as explorers. They were ending it as guardians. On the school deck below, little Oh Dong-min finished his drawing and showed it to his teacher. It was a picture of Earth, surrounded by human ships. But this time, the ships were not just protecting Earth. They were protecting all the other planets too, with all their different children safe and happy. At the bottom of the picture, in careful handwriting, Dong-min had written, Humans keep everyone safe. Ms. Han Yujin smiled and put the drawing on the wall with all the others. It was true. Humans did keep everyone safe now, and they always would. In the months and years that followed, the galaxy would change in ways no one had expected.